I am live. Well, the FedEx field is set. We've got some new merchandise that's been replenished. Lots to talk about, and we're going to talk about length when it comes to fitting. All here on What's in Your Drawers Golf Talk. Next. Welcome back to the McGolf Shop. Jim McCleary here, 6-time top 100, top best club fitters with Golf Digest, and amongst other stuff. And this is What's in My Drawers Golf Talk. Why What's in My Drawers? Because old club makers, club fitters are tremendous pack rats, and I'm one of them. Started out with a normal discussion on what was in the cabinets and drawers of the shop, and now here we are talking about all kinds of different golf stuff. So I think we're going to have a pretty good day today. So let's get to it, right? Let's just get to it. Number one, let's throw it out there for the FedEx Cup, right? The BMW Championship. Patrick Cantlay, Scott Stallings, sorry, and Scotty Scheffler. I think we're going to see a lot of these names going forward, right? Patrick Cantlay, I mean, I got a chance to watch like the last 6 or 7 holes, and even Xander Schauffele up until he imploded. All of them had a shot, right? They all had a shot, and I think we're going to see some really good golf out of these guys going forward. I mean, it could be easily these guys could be the next triumvirate if everything goes well, and good for them. So the top 30, I was like, I was watching where Lowry made it to the 30th position. I thought, oh, really cool, because I like Lowry. He's a good-natured guy. Only for there was another fella that his last name started with a P. He just caught fire there at the very end and ended up, he got up in there. Adam Scott got in there, and it pushed him down and out. And so that's numbers for you, right? Again, another one in the amateur stroke play, F. Biondi. I listened to him talk. He's actually very very easy to listen to. Good guy indeed. And then another one, Dick's Sporting Goods. I say this because Padraig Harrington again won in commanding fashion, shot a -5 on the last round, and Mike Weir came in second. I was watching those guys play, and there was no amount of whatever Mike could do that Padraig couldn't counter. But I like Mike Weir being a lefty. That was pretty cool. I got to see those. There's a lot of good guys. There's a lot of names on there that, my generation would be there. Jim Furyk, Vijay Singh, Darren Clark, Bernard Longer, Miguel Jimenez, Straka was in there, Pernice Jr. I mean, there's all Duffy Waldorf, Rocco Mediate. That takes you into the top 15. So that was pretty nice. Congratulations to all those guys. I'm glad to see that they did good, right? And we're going to see this championship, I think, coming up is going to be a well-fought one. I don't think even with all the points that are or the strokes that are going to be differentiated, I think that just is going to make those guys like the Rorys of the world and all those guys, they're going to just pour it on and come after these guys. And that's going to make for some really good golf. So, okay, good for that. So merchandise, right? Here's before we get there, like and subscribe, hit that bell down there. It's down there somewhere along this bottom here. Hit that bell, like and subscribe this, and that way we get more out to everybody, and it bleeds over and it makes the channel grow a little bit more each time. And so far, thank you. We're doing pretty good. So you guys know I've had these before. They've actually, I hate to sound like I'm hawking these things, but I'm really not. Very popular indeed. We got 4 colors now: blue, green, red, and gray, or a silverish, whatever you call it, gunmetal. And these are the divot tools, right? the switchblade divot tools. Switchblade divot tools with a ball marker, and it's a very strong magnet this time around. I get it. Whoop. So much for the strong magnet, right? But there we go. And everybody's favorite little extra on there is the pencil sharpener. The pencil sharpener. These are all by Pitch Fix. They've got kind of a, I don't know, a silicone coating on them. It's very, very durable. And there you get to see where it comes from. Last one more time, it does that. And there it goes. Very, very stout. All right. Other thing that has been another very popular item has been the Club Glove Tour Towel. Right, comes with the McGolf logo on it, and that's stitched in there. Right, all that's 100% stitched, and it comes with a free pocket towel. Of course, they put some sort of, oh, it's the value of this much, whatever. It's just a pocket towel, and it's about that big, and again, it fits in the pocket. Normally, what you do is you get it slightly damp, and it's good to wipe off the golf ball. This is a very, very coarse. If you look at that square. All right. It's a very coarse microfiber, and it's made so that you don't need a brush. All right. And this is what you see. This is virtually what you see a lot of the guys on tour that they have, because it's very, very long. All right. Very, very long. And it also goes right there. And that's where you would put it on a golf club. So you don't need one of those things poking you in the back. So you have the blue, right? Then we have a gray, right? We have a white. I've never really known too much about that. Every people get the white, but it gets dirty. Then you get a black. This one tends to go pretty fast, a black. And then the other one, be careful, you may not be able to see this one when I put it up there, except for the orange. One camo. We call it the sacrificial camo. And there's one or two in there, and that's about it. Very nice, though. They work very well. So there's my hawking for the day. Again, like and subscribe. All righty, so into that. Some stuff that we did. So my sister came to visit, and on her way to Gulf Shores, and we gave her plenty of places to go. Hopefully she's experiencing the bushwhacker drink even as we speak. And for the day, we ended up doing a brisket with some burnt-ends. And there's the burnt-ends before, and there's the burnt-ends after. And there's the brisket before it became that. I got to tell you, I'm real happy with it. It came out pretty good. The other part is that we used the American Soul Brothers barbecue sauce. No, I am not sponsored by them, but they have a what would be their original. It's kind of a sweeter sauce. Made a sandwich out of it today. Holy smokes, was it good. All righty. Moving on. Went to that My Golf Spy outing, and I was cleaning out my bag, and I forgot. I got the Titleist tin, and another customer had brought us another Titleist, so I got a handful of Titleist golf balls. So we're going to see how Titleist works when I go out this next time through. I did not go golfing because we had some weather come in, so I spent it just doing cleaning around the house, basically. All right, so one of the big things from my Golf Spy event, one of them won a wedge. I believe it was the 60 degree. It looks nicer there. And we put the lambkin grips on it, and the Acra wedge shaft. And it's just kind of neat how that it looks like there's carpet right in between, and there's really not. But the Acra wedge shaft, that's the 90-gram wedge shaft, which kind of almost leads me into my topic for the day. But so the guy that we were playing with, he won that, and I watched him all the way around. And the guy has an incredibly fluid swing, just super nice, and he can pour it on when he needs to, but he normally just swings nice and even, and it's just really nice to watch. And he went and moved to graphite, and it made a big, big difference. And that does for a lot of folks that are smoother, right? Smoother, lighter, even a skosh more flexible, depending on how you release the club and, transition it down. And he was wondering what could he do for his wedge game, because that's where he suffered a little bit. and I watched him, and it was more about control, right? Confidence and control, they tend to go with one another. But I said, your clubs are too heavy. And he went, what? And I said, you swing these really nice 60-gram graphite shafts, and then you're playing these wedges with 120 gram. So you're going along nice and even, and all of a sudden you're hitting these sledgehammers. I said, you need to lighten the load in that. And so he took it to heart, and he gave me a call and says, hey, can you put some of those Acro wedge shafts in there? I said, well, sure. There it is. So hopefully he likes it, and we'll find out from there. Actually pushed out a bunch of clubs, and I put them on the Instagram and in the reels, and they went out, and that's what we're doing. I will be doing a video here shortly. I did not have one in the can because I did not have a camera. Mrs. McGough made me promise not to talk bad, and I will not. However, the camera was in the way, and it took a spill and decided to not work. Now, the bonus package here was I had to get another camera, and they had a deal, a package deal where I got another lens, and it just happens to fit in the family that I have. Excellent idea there. And so I've got it charging, and we're getting ready to go. And not only that, but the package also came with a camera bag, like a shoulder carry camera bag, and it's pretty nice too. So, that was a freebie. Thank you, B&H, for that one. And the my Rode cord, it connects the camera to the transmitter. It snapped off, and Rode was very good about their warranty, so I'm just waiting on that to be delivered. I'm going to use an aftermarket, and then we'll see how that works out. And what I'm going to be doing, so you guys can help me with this one. I'm doing a boxes to builds. That's from Mayfield. I believe it's Mayfield, Ohio. And I am building a set of tailor-made blades, the P790 blades or 770 blades. Anyway, they're smaller player blades, and we're putting in the Lab Golf shafts, and we're putting some really nice MCC4 gold and black grips on them with the standard tailor-made ferrules. I think it's going to look really cool, and he wants everything logo down. So here's your shot. If you have a particular topic that you'd like to see on this one, this is the time to do it, because I'm going to be building 7 irons. So let's throw out the topic, and let's see what you think. Let's see what we can do with this thing, and I will try and get it out into the week. All right, let's get fitting. My comments on fitting. All righty, so fitting on length, right? And the reason why I said that is this weekend I had a series of guys come through, and all from different backgrounds, different histories for golf, and again, very, very cool, right? Had a golfer that's getting back into it. I think I might lower this just a little bit. There we go. A golfer that's getting back into it after a while, and apparently was quite a golfer. And based on the swing, I'd have to agree. Another one that's getting into golf and just barely got started, but is practicing, and that's a good thing. And then one that's in between, and he's just we call him a weekend hack, right? He called himself that, so I can say it. And he did pretty good. So on one of these, I'm going to show you. So what we do is I have a set of clubs over here, and right behind me, these guys right here, and they're a set of 6 irons, and they're the same head, shaft, grip, flex, everything except for length. Then Acra right there, those are my driver shafts. Again, same shaft, same flex, same grips, same tips, same everything. Screws into the same head, and only just for length. So I'm really, really isolating length. My opinion, length is equal to consistency, regardless of the weight. All right. You may not hit it in the direction you want, but getting you onto that club face in that same spot is really what helps. And then we can tweak down into that. So I wanted to show you kind of where we went with this. So if we look here, this is the irons first. So this one is a 1/2 of an inch short, this one's standard, and then this one is a 1/2 of an inch taller. And you can see, you know, the over here, 2 in the middle, and then this one was a bad shot, so I let him hit another one, and it was right here. And then this one, he was all over the map, and then this one, all of a sudden, this one, he's a little tighter, right? Now, it's not the dot that everybody would want, and that's a rarity, all right? However, that one gets it. So you got a guy that's probably been playing a club that was a 1/2 of an inch short being standard, and that happens. Then we go into the driver, and, you know, the guy's hitting it on the top, and you can see where, you know, it's all over the map, and he gets a little bit tighter right there. So, and so when you see something like this, I'm going to give you guys another one. You see something like this, right, where it's all in the top, there's one of two things going on. Make sure what I did here. Yep. There's one of two things going on. One, they're coming into it, and I happen to have a head this time around. They're coming into it like this, and they're hitting the ball like right here, and it's hitting on the top. Or two, they have it teed too high. Now, 9 times out of 10, somebody in that group's going to go, oh, you're hitting up there, you just need to tee it higher. What would make you think that? All right, if you're hitting it on the top, why would you tee it higher? Because it's only going to get higher. Why would it not hit higher on the face? And that's that golf is a game of opposites thing, right? Oh, just aim more left so it doesn't go right. Well, we all know how that works out. Not much, right? This gentleman came in for a driver, and we only had to fit 2 because it instantly went south. But if we look here, that's one heck of a pattern because that was the miss. Everything else is in the middle, and then it starts going sideways. And the reason why I stopped it there is because it was evident that we had already hit that length. And what we're talking about that is the when you do those in length, it can be in the difference. Let me give you a real number here. All right, so the difference in those 2 lengths of clubs was 11 yards. 11 yards. And the shorter one went further. So anybody that's telling you, oh, you got to have the longer club to hit further is full of malarkey. Now, it's all predicated on the quality of your hit, right? If you can get a really high quality of hit and you can make a nice small pattern, that's going to win the day all the time. All right, one more. All right, this one, yeah, this was a good one here too. Let me see where I went. Yep, okay. So this is a fella that was hitting clubs that were 2 inches long. All right, and so we started here again. Since I knew he was starting long, or no, this was a different fella. Sorry, 1/2 inch under, standard, and then a 1/2 of an inch over. You see the pattern differences? And then you go into here, look at this guy, right? This one right here. I mean, and the numbers are staggeringly different, right? The driver was virtually, it was at 14 yards difference. 14 yards difference just for length, all right? And the iron was, because they're very close, was only 5. So, and because those patterns were tighter, right? So you get 5. But that's a notable, you know, when you're talking a 5-yard gain with an iron, that's pretty impressive. And all that is length. All right, length. That's all it is. It's totally isolated. So that's the reason why I harp on this, right? Because now that we know what it is, you take into account the person's characteristics for swings, their tempos, all these different things, and then you can start messing around with weight, profiles, offsets, the way the clubs look, lie angles, and all that, and then you're tweaking them in so that. And the idea here is we're creating confidence. When you create confidence, you make confident swings. You make confident swings. You make good contact. You make good contact. You get good results. That's the idea. Okay. Off the soapbox. Let's answer some questions. Jack King, what do you say, sir? How are you? Opinion on Sachs Perenni putters, and what about Edison wedges? I've only seen, actually I have. I've seen one Parente. There you go. I'm sorry. Parente putter. Very well made. I mean, it's a very well made putter. It's it again, like most things, if you get it fit and it fits your eye and all the other things that go with it as far as weight, then it's a matter of, do you like looking down on it? And their putters, I mean, they're all about making a high quality end putter. What does the feel like? I can't tell you. I don't know if it feels soft, if it feels rock hard, those different types of things. And those are individual feels, right? Because I deal with Toulon, and I was going to go over that. I am a Toulon dealer, the only one in Ohio, guys. So if you're interested in Toulon, send me a note. We can hook you up. Toulon changed his pattern, and he's got a softer feel on it, very much like the Parente, I believe. If I look at the way that it's made and I look at the way they heat treat things, I would think that it has a softer feel. Now you go the other way, and it's not a knock on them, but Bettinardi, right, with the honeycomb pattern, they are making some really cool stuff, and they're really going after a certain niche or niche if you're younger, and and it's cool. The Kool-Aid Man thing on there, I think that's just outstanding. But to me, that putter has always felt hard. All right, it's felt hard, and if you like that particular feel, then okay. To me, it just wasn't my thing. So there's that. Edison wedges. I've known Terry Kohler. We're not like drinking buddies or anything, but I've known him since two wedge companies ago, and there is something to be said about the way that the sole works. He was one of the original guys that had the V sole, and the Edison, I think he smoothed that one out a little bit. I don't know. I haven't seen an Edison in my shop as of yet, nor have I seen him. But he kind of started after these, after all the COVID and all that stuff. So I'm going to guess we're probably going to see him at the PGA show, and then we'll see how that one works out. Typically, now on the front hand, he did a lot of lefty stuff. And when he went to the second company, he didn't do too much lefty stuff. And so I couldn't really, comment on it. But do I think it's a quality wedge? Yeah, it can be a quality wedge. In fact, I carried the Eidolons for quite some time in my bag. All right. The Club Doctor. Hello, sir. How are you? Thank you for staying up late. Emmanuel, what's going on? Hope everything's doing well. No playing last week, but did marshal holes 1 and 10 at the Dick's Sporting Good event. Nice. I'm glad you liked it. Did you get to see Patrick go by? I just can imagine that dude when it's on, that dude is just focused. I know he's a talker and everything, but I can only imagine that he is super focused. Good for him. All right, Charles Bartholomew, Golf Buddies A-Wedge came loose again. Last time it was 14 months ago. He's having a time with a set of Callaway Steelhead XRs. Repaired it again. Let's see how long it lasts this time. Yeah, sometimes you get those problem clubs, and the XRs. Are those the bore throughs or the fake bore throughs? Nevertheless, if it was a fake bore through, I'd probably understand this one. Every once in a while, if it feels loose, right? I'm going to give you a trick here. If it feels loose, and I don't do it very often, but I know guys that live and die by this one. Get you a piece of fishing line about this long and just shove it in there while you're putting the shaft in, and then cut it off flat, and that acts as kind of a wedge to help keep that stuff in there. Now, it acts basically like a shim, and it's a really, really, really small shim, and that can work. Or go get you a regular shim and be done with it. But either way, just get in there nice and tight. All righty. Club Doctor saying hi all. There's Mr. David Jones, and thank you again, sir. Hammer! I fit one of the Houston Rocket players once for irons. He was 6'6", because his arms are so long. They are standard length, huge grips with X-Flex shafts. There you go, right? And that's one of the things we were talking about. I had a guy in here, that one of those guys was 6'4", and he was playing with 2-inch long grip or 2-inch long clubs, and because they just looked at him and said, "Oh, you're a tall guy." Well, he wasn't really that tall, but he had shorter arms. And when we tested him, he actually fit to 1.5 inches over, and he hit the living crud out of it. So yeah, good for him, right? And same thing here. I fit a guy on the was it the Charlotte Hornets? Is that what they're called now? Anyway, he was 7 footer, and I had to go 3 inches over standard. And again, we put those big monster grips. Thank goodness for Jumbo Max, and we got through there. But those, I mean, they're the athletes, man. I mean, there's professional athletes. They're all strong, every last one of them. So good. Glad you got the chance to do it. They're a lot of fun. Dave, what do you say, sir? Fellow lefty in on off rain and muggy Michigan. Oh, rain and muggy. I'm not a fan of that one. We had a lot of rain the last couple of days. That was the reason why. And right now, it's just slightly overcast, but it's a nice night. It's starting to cool down, so very good for us. Is Mike Weird still doing the stack and tilt? It did not look like it, man. It did not look like it, and thank goodness. The stack and tilt was a method that was very, very good for hitting irons, but it was not very much of a method for hitting drivers or fairway woods. It just wasn't. And as we found out much later, it actually kind of hurt your back. So hopefully he took a little bit from that. There was some impact. That kind of the stack and tilt actually kind of spurred this whole the kinesiology, getting things in line and easy swinging, like you see the swing surgeons and things like that. It kind of spurred that one, and I think it's a little bit better. Steve, what do you say, sir? What's going on, buddy? Brendan, what do you say from Ireland? Thank you so very much for staying up late again. Did you keep the Srixons, buddy, or did you cancel it out? What happened? Let's hear it. Let's hear what you got. Oh, and tell me this one. I don't know if we have anybody on from Scotland, but we were just talking with my sister again, and we were talking about the brown sauce. Do you guys, is that something that's used over there? I just can't remember. Let me know. No, like I said, the ultimate divot tool. Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree. It is very nice and it's very durable. Past my prime. What do you say, sir? What's going on? There you go. Hello, back. Duke from Pennsylvania. Got some rain today. Did you ever think about selling golf shirts? You know what? We did. I was kind of struggling between a kind of a funny golf shirt kind of thing, or like the McGolf logo right here. See that? The McGolf logo right here and staff on the back, or something like there was some sort of funny comment. The other one is these guys right here. I don't know. I'd have to do something. I'm a Callaway golf shirt fan. I just like the way that they fit, and I like the way that they feel, and they tend to last a while. So maybe we'll get to that point. Yeah, from the UK again. Thank you for staying up late. Well, we'll have to look into those guys. We'll see. Yep. There's my dog Rex. Thumbs up, people. Thank you, sir. Charlie, they were. I have to, and the best part was I would say that was an average cut of meat, and it turned out really, really well. I'm digging on this pellet smoker, guys. All right. David Hanner, what do you say? Just added a Mitsubishi MMT putter shaft to a Cobra Grandmaster 3035. Woo! Sick face putters, great results. Are you getting asked for putters with graphite shafts? No, I am not. Right around here, David, everything lacks. I don't know what it is, but everything here, the technology lags about a year to 2 years. So something like that will be I will probably by the middle of next year, somebody will ask me about that. Now, I will say, again, from the Acra folks, and they're all these guys here and these guys, they do make a putter shaft as well. And they come in several different weights for that very reason. And I always thought that would be very cool. The thing with the thing with graphite shafts, though, David, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. Uh, those are the ones where you have to insert them, right? Whether you have a plumber's neck or straight in. What we're seeing in a lot of cases now, a lot of the putters have posts, and you have to put the shaft over the post. And these grips or these shafts have very small holes in them, so you have to be very careful about your selection. I don't know if that's something that you're running into. And the Mitsubishi putter shaft, I didn't even know they made one, so that's good news to know. All right. Well, there we go. Just checking in. Been missing the show because I spent the last month buying a new house and moving. Well, good for you. Congratulations. New house ownership is always fun and disappointing and, how shall I say, always a challenge. There's always something going on. You can always do something to the house. Good for you. And it's always a good investment for the most part. Duke made a small change in my grip on the putter and a slight swing change, shows 77. Let's see how long it lasts. There you go. Stay in the groove, man. Stay in the groove. That's what happened when I played last time. I was, thought I could get off. I was getting off the tee okay, and I always have to fight the urge to want to really rear back and in order to swing through it. I have to get rid of that urge. And because what it does, it throws my timing off, and I normally hit the bad part of the face of the club. But if I come back and I come to a certain position and I come through, and it feels like I'm barely swinging, and then normally that results in one heck of a shot. And I got to just keep doing that. Dave, reshafted my stock TaylorMade Sim Max 4 hybrid shaft with a Matrix Radix 85 and totally changed height and spin. Oh, there you go. You know what? There's something to be said about those. I've got a TZ sitting in the shop waiting for me to put it into one of these, one of my Epics that I've got, those super hybrids. Unfortunately, the ones I got those steel fibers in there, and they're working very, very well. So I'm just I'm just waiting for one of them to fail me, and we're changing shafts. But right now they haven't, so we're gonna have to kind of wait for them. Michael, thank you for being around there again, sir. Thank you for staying up late with us. Charlie, are you frequently mentioning that set you're building from Ohio? No, I'm not. The lab shafts actually come in discrete lengths, and in order for them, uh, it's a 120, at least that's what it looks like. It's a 120 gram graphite shaft. So these things are extraordinarily beefy, and they're made for the guy that's just going to come out of his shoes swinging. And they make no bones about it. How they talk about their shafts. Now, I haven't looked at the price of these shafts, but I'm sure that they're in the upper tier range, and they were all really good except for one, and it was down in the pitching wedge area. And I messed with another set of these once before, and the same thing happened. So I don't know if it's a manufacturing philosophy or they're just missing it. So we'll have to take a look at that. But I will look at the, oh, by the way, 14. But we'll look at that from another one, another topic per se. All right, Peter, what do you say from Syracuse? Digging on the car right there, buddy. Good job. Club building and any kind of shaft review is amazing to watch. All right, we'll take a look at that. Yeah, I did one. I did a set of those labs before, and man, oh man, I'm telling you, uh, if you got somebody that's absolutely aggressive in a swing and can actually manipulate a club, that's a shaft for you. At 120, at 120, it's going to be. I think it's going to be even more stiff than even stiff steel would be. All right, if someone wants luck good down, but spine and flow is logo up, how do you handle that? Duke, I turn it down. Spine and flow goes straight out the door. But honestly, if you look at it and the spine looks like this, the spine and flow goes like that. If it goes like that, you're going to be really, really close again. All right. I'm going to let you guys on it. This is a pro tip right here. Now, the shaft will go in quadrants. Okay. It will go in quadrants. So if you can get it going like this, when you twang it, it will go like that. All right. And if you turn it 90 degrees, you probably get the same results. It's just the spine is in a different location. Probably. It's a very good chance it's going to happen, but that's what you can do. However, when they say make this go down here like that, all that goes right out the door. And spining and flowing is the chicken and the egg conversation in the golf club making world, or even the golfer's world, right? You can go on you can go on any forum right this moment in time. GolfWorks, Golf Spy, Sand Trap, all of them. And you can look up spine and flow, and inevitably there's somebody that talks about how to do it, and then a handful of golfers will throw in their 2 cents on, I had it done, it did me just fine, I love them to death, or I didn't do anything, or if you go watch Dave Tootleman's thing and he says no, it doesn't make a difference, and all that other stuff. All right, so and what my comment to all that is, it creates a more consistent club whenever you do it. Whether you think it doesn't provide anything, I think it does. And if I'm making a more consistent club, then you have a better chance at making a more consistent score. All right. Camilio, what do you say, sir? Down under. Well, good morning then, right? Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Bean. Hello, Jim and Robin. A while back you did a Tacoma build with recoils. Did you use collared ferrules? Must you use collared ferrules when using graphite? I have 101s and these 101s have no shoulder. Thanks. If it doesn't have a shoulder, you don't need a collar. That's good enough. Now, what they talk about there, Bean, and let me see if I can. Okay, we'll talk about it. I brought show and tell this time around. So in here, right, it's either going to have the shoulder, which you're talking about, which means that you would need a collared ferrule. And in that particular instance, the answer would be yes, you need to use one, particularly on graphite, because if you don't, there's an opportunity to create a shear point. Now you go, well, okay, well, if I don't have a shoulder, then how come I'm not creating a shear point that way? And that's a heck of a good question. Now, what you would normally want to see is in the top here is about a 30 to 40 degree chamfer, meaning that you saw that square. Now, this is a fitting club, so it's kind of hard to show you that. But at the entry, like this one, at the entry in here, right, this is a Wilson launch pad. In the entry right into here, what you'll see is it'll either be very rounded or there'll be a taper in there. And the whole idea is so that you can get glue in there to protect it from being a shear point. So just make sure you get enough glue that it's in there. So if it doesn't have one, then you should be good to go. There you go. Nope, you're good. All right. Look at that. Oh yeah. She's all healed up. Looking at her now. She's looking at the iPad, following all you guys. Waiting to see. She's on a delay, so waiting to see if she'll ever look over here. Nope, she's doing something. Sunny V, what do you say? Greetings from a hot and rainy? Really? Ontario. Normally, when you get into Canada, hot is not one of the descriptors that you would use. But okay, I'm glad hopefully that's a good thing for you guys up there. How's it going up there anyway? You guys are in the middle of your season, so hopefully you're busy. Dan, missed the first 15 minutes. Did you answer a question on if height matters? Yes, I did. Well, it's not necessarily height matters, but length matters. That's for sure. And again, to go into that a little bit more, it's not just predicated on, well, you're 6'4" and you have short arms, or you're, as another guy in here, the club doctor had a guy that was 6'6" but had really long arms, or if you had a short guy, they can go all over the map. Those are two very important dimensions to measure or to look at to be sure. However, there's also how the person stands up to the ball, whether they're very upright or they're very leaned over, and then their club plane. Okay, if you get a guy that goes vertical and comes around, it, I can almost guarantee you it would be shorter than somebody would recall. There are some. Then you look at this guy, 6 foot, standard length, no problem, got long arms, and goes vertical, and all of us, or even short arms, goes vertical. The club will be shorter than you think because of the way they swing. However, if you take the same guy and he comes back and he's flat, the club will get longer. Okay, that's the reason why you see guys when they are swinging flat, and they swing flat, need the flat lie angle. They were always considered to be these better golfers, all from the inside and all that other stuff. Huh? It's truly, if you're just fitting, it's genderless, and there's no bias in it. It's just how you swing, right? And everybody's like, "Oh, I swing like this." Yeah, okay, you swing like that, and that's just the way you are. I mean, if we all wanted to be excellent ball strikers, we could swing like Jim Furyk, and none of us are gonna. All right, that's just the way that goes. All right. Do I go in quarter-inch increments? No, I do not. I go in half-inch increments to an extent. Uh, in my length, no, I do half-inch. I'll do half-inch lengths. I don't do quarters, unless we're talking some very, 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 very low handicap guys. I see enough change at the half an inch. I thought you were talking about builds, but no. In either case, the answer is no. All right. Question for the day. Does stress or stretch marks on a hosel mean that it could be broken? Well, Camilio, it means that you're on the verge of it breaking, that's for sure. Because you're breaking it from the inside. And normally that comes from, and I can use this as my show and tell piece. So when you clamp, you're clamping here. So you clamp it and you bend it like this or like this. And normally you'll see some level of right at the very bottom of the hosel. So it'd be somewhere in this neck of the woods, and you'll see a wrinkle, right? You can see a wrinkle. Now, does that mean it's broken? Maybe. Yeah, it could be that the chrome stretched on the outside when you bent it, because when you bend it down, you're compacting it, and when you go the other way, you're stretching it. Now you do that a couple more times, and all of a sudden it's going to crack, and then yeah, it's broken. So you want to be very, very careful. I've done some. I'm up to 3 clubs now in my entire career that I've broken. And the very first one that got me the most scared I've ever done anything is I clamped it, and as I was talking to the guy, the thing broke off in my hand. I hadn't even moved it yet. So I went and looked at the other ones, and they had this wrinkle all the way around. And I said, "Have you had these adjusted?" He says, "Yeah, I'm like number 6." So that's like bending a coat hanger back and forth, and eventually, yeah, you're going to stress it out, and that's what happened. So I said, "Look, man, I can't bend these," and he's like, "Are you sure?" And I said, "Well, if you don't mind me breaking another one." He says, "Well, okay, we'll see." So I literally just clamped my bending bar on it, clamped it, and I let it go, and it snapped the thing clean off on its own weight. So I said, "Yeah, I don't think we're going to be doing any more of these." So he needed a new set. So hopefully that helped. RS, what do you say? Hola. From St. Louis. All right. Just for fun, I added an inch to my pitching wedge, and I swear I can hit it over the arch now. Good for you. When the clubs are shorter, they're easy to manipulate. And there very well may be something to that. There's a guy in Scotland, and Gorley. uh, SSG Golf, I think it's called. The dude's absolutely brilliant, and he's really focused on the fitting aspect, but he does building, and he fits you for an upper iron, a mid iron, and a lower iron. And I ask him several times if the length changes between them, and he says in a lot of cases it does. They also will change shafts, so you get a truly custom fitted shaft. And I've thought about sitting down with him and asking him about it, and just to see how much success he's had with it lately. And he is a very, very good golfer in his own right. Nice, super nice guy. But if you're over there in the Scotland area, super nice guy. I would suggest him mightily. But the as far as length goes and all that stuff, now there's another guy out there that does a thing called true length, and it's based on parameters, and then it draws you a specific line, and it could be instead of half-inch increments, it might be 3/8 inch increments of building the club. It could be uh, quarter inch, I guess, depending on what it is. So to say that the half-inch increments are the only way, that would be a false statement. All right. I have 9-inch width on my knuckles. Okay. I have a 9-inch. Oh, you got a big hand. Yeah, I'd say so. That's a pretty big width. You might look at, again, those Jumbo Max, and I will give you, we're getting ready to, that's another one I'm getting ready to do. Now, I told you guys earlier in the year that Jumbo Max made a claim on distance, and I threw the yellow BS flag at them, and they sent me some grips to check. And Acura hooked me up with some shafts to check. So I was literally, again, isolating the grip. And I am truly amazed of what I'm seeing. Is it across the board increase in distance? No. But if you're not increasing in distance, you can increase your consistency, where your pattern gets smaller. That happened to me. I didn't increase distance, but my consistency got laser focused. So there is something to these larger and then it's larger, and then whether or not it's a light or a heavy grip too. So there's something to be said about that. We're still working on a little bit, but needless to say, there is something out there about that. All right. Brendan was thinking about taking an inch off of my tri-hot. Would you recommend it? If you're in standard length, Brendan, and you're under 6 foot, I would say yes. And keep in mind, if you're using the Stroke Lab shaft, that there is a weight in the back end. So when you rip the grip off, make sure you pull out the little weight. And one of the easiest ways to do it is it's only held on by friction, and you can take a screw take a coarse thread screw, just screw it into the back of it until it grabs, and then it'll pull straight out. You're good to go. Mike, what do you say, sir? Loving the show as always. You are the man, Steve. Thank you very much. Man, C-Tan's back. Well done. Haven't seen that. All righty. Again, if I'm gonna hit it about midstream here. If you would, please like and subscribe. Let's try and get the likes up as much as we possibly can. That way it gets out to a lot of different folks. All right, might be trying the Sax Parente on Friday. I'll let you know. Yeah, let me know. I want to know if it feels soft, because these guys are all about making a quality putter, right? It's all about making a quality putter. Is it? I don't know. I've not seen one up close and personal. There you go. That's a real question. All right. It's not that my swing changed in, but shortened my back swing and allow follow through is a straight. There you go. Right. That's what I'm talking about. With what I'm talking about being way back here, and you can allow too much articulation in a swing. Now, I will say what I'm also finding out is I can watch a guy putt, and I don't know if it's just from time and effort or whatever it is, but I can watch a guy putt, and I can tell if you slice the golf ball with your irons or not. I didn't. I came to that conclusion here not too long ago, and it's fun to watch it and see how we can correct the putting stroke, and then I can take that into the irons. It's really kind of cool. We're gonna have to do some fitting stuff here going very forward. It's really kind of cool. All right. Can you add toe hang to a putter? Yes, yes. So the balance on a putter, and I don't have a putter head here, but we'll use a driver head. The balance on a putter is again, I'm using this word a lot, predicated on where that shaft either enters for real or virtually enters into the club. And if you look and you see these double bend putters and they bend and they go out this way so that it looks like it's going like this, and you see, but it's mounted in the back, but it looks like it's going right here. That's probably a face balance putter. The more that, even if it's heel shafted, but the bend looks like it would, the major portion of the shaft would go to the center. Now, there's tons and tons of different ways of making that happen. The more that it goes back, the more the toe droop happens. Man, I am having. All right. Now, if you want to, you can falsely do that by adding just a little bit of weight on the toe. Right? If you have those two, sometimes they have two weights, one at the toe, one at the heel, and you want to make it toe hang a little bit more, you put a little bit more weight. Let's say they're both 6 grams. You want a little bit, you put an 8. You want a little bit more, you put a 10. You want to be a significant amount, put a 12, and do something like that. If it doesn't have that, then a short little piece of lead tape will do the exact same thing. But that's how you would add it. Now you can bend it and get that to happen, but then you run the risk of it not working or not feeling good when you stand up to it. All right, here we go. CW grad. Any cool upcoming projects? Well, I'm putting these tailor-mades together, and I'm looking for a topic to be sure. That's one. We just finished one. I mean, outside of the driving range, Mrs. McGolf actually went out and found the bay dividers, and I tell you what, it looks really, really good. I'm glad she did it, and much better than the wooden ones that we had. As far as in here, I'm gonna start using this Capto unit a little bit more, and try and get some more data from that for putting. All right, graphite putter shafts have to go on plumber's necks only, but if plenty have that option. KBS one steps is steel high tech. Others, okay. All right, I was just wondering about that, David. It's just one of the things, but the weight and those feels, and there are significant differences between the two, right? And it can give, just like irons, it can give you a different feel of it coming off the club head, and it may very well make it very nice, right? That's what we're looking for. Good for you. There's Steve. How you doing, buddy? Steve's been talking to me on Facebook every once in a while. Very good. Joe Palace from Yuma. Oh, wow. Okay. Nice. Thank you for staying up. Or actually, it's not for staying up for you, so that's okay. Thoughts on replacing a 5-wood shaft with a 3-wood shaft? Yeah, it can be done. Do it all the time. What you can do is, in a lot of cases, before you put it in, so the club is going to be on the average an inch longer. Let's just say it's from model to model, right? So we eliminate that issue. So from a Callaway Rogue to a Callaway Rogue, let's just pick one. And you're going from a 3-wood to a 5-wood. You can do one of two things. Well, and it depends on what you really want to do here. You can do a lot of things. Well, number one, you can just put it in a club, play an inch longer, and away you go. Now, I have done that. I do that for folks that are looking for distance, meaning they have a slower swing speed, and the idea is ball go in the air, right? So we take a 5-wood and maybe make it their new 3-wood. Then we'll take a 7-wood and make it their new 5-wood. Right? We've done that. We've done that time and time and time again, right? Now let's just say you're like, well, I really like my 5-wood. I really don't like my 3-wood. then what you would have to do is I would trim it about, say, a half of an inch off and put it in there and then check for length again. And that, because what you have to do is make up for the head weight, because the 5 wood is going to be heavier than the 3 wood, and it will make the club play softer in putting that in, which is the third option. You can shove it in there, cut it down to 5 wood length, and let it play a little softer. How about that one? Very cool. Oh my. Oh, the Strixons are due today and they didn't arrive. Not here by Friday. Oh no. Oh, dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. Oh. I know you got 7s. I just looked up on my wall and I actually have a set. I know that's like salt in the wound and I apologize completely. But I hope you get them. I hope they work really well, and I hope they, it goes really well with your logo you got going on here. My rep was supposed to show up and show me the new ones that are coming out. I'm really kind of getting excited about it, but they haven't put them out. So you getting these is probably a good thing because maybe they're not ready for the new ones yet. All right. Yeah, I know, right? Chris, what do you say, sir? Have found some old original graphite blue shafts. Ooh, graphalloy blues. Those were absolute rebar, right? I'm going to put them in a 7 and 9 wood to bring the launch height down. Good for you. I think that'll do it. Those things would make really good fairway wood shafts. So I think that'd be a good one. He also put a Matrix 7.1. Really, Ozick? Oh my goodness, knocking off the back of the range. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I'd say. Oh, look at this. Look who's finally joined the club. Matt, what do you say, man? No rounds. What is this? A no round week for the most of us? Gee, many Christmas. Watching for my daughter's varsity soccer game. All right. Good for her. Was that meant to happen or is just somebody there? Good for her though. High school varsity soccer game starting at goalie. Nice. Nice. Question: how cold is too cold to play golf? Dude, we are not polar bears like you. I know you can get out when the hell and the snow's flying. You just sweep it away. For me, somewhere, it depends on the season, but the upper 40s is about as good as it gets for me. I'm a 50s guy. Yes, I'm a fair weather golfer, although I really don't mind playing in the rain. In fact, I call those guys ducks. I'm a duck. I can play in the rain. It doesn't bother me nearly as much. In fact, I think my focus gets a little bit more in focus. But for me, 48, I'm going to put a number to it, and then after that, it gets iffy. Now, to say that, and I have played in temperatures of 34 degrees down in the Santee area, and I will tell you, it was miserable, and I will never do it again. But the upper 40s, yeah, I'm good with that. Keeper, huh? Good position, can have lots of activity there. Same here, man. There you go. Yep. What's your thought on hard stepping to reduce tip deflection, Steve? Well, as a whole, it does that, but you're only going to go about each hard step's about a third of a flex. So if you're into a tweak mode, then yeah, you could probably do it and lower it down, make it feel a little bit more firm, right? You won't get crazy stiff. So if you're looking for that slightly more control, we're talking little bits now, slightly control, then yeah, a hard step could do it. But keep in mind, when you do the hard step, that means the top end is going to be loose. All right, because unless you have let's just say they make a 3 through a pitch, then you've got a 4 through a gap. I made there, but now you got a 3. There's no more hard stepping at the top, just so you know. Now the good thing about that is at the top is where you probably need it to be a little bit more soft, so it's a good thing. All right. It's funny because I do not have very tall hands, sort of in between medium large for palms like mine. Oh, okay. Very cool. I found some old original glass. Yep. Yep. We got that. Got that. Let's see. From a right-handed guy. So if your hands are very big or very wide, right, and in the regular grips, let's say something like this, right? This is just a regular grip, and you were in here and you were like this, and you're just absolutely jamming it in there real big. Uh, that's too small. You want to be into it to where it's just barely touching. Okay, that's on the average. Now, the feel and confidence will override the quality of the fit almost every time because again, like I've said, confidence in the swing, confidence makes a good swing, a good confident swing, and good confident swings uh, make good contact, and good contact means good balls. So that's what we're looking for, is to get into that particular area. Now, if it gets wider, for a wider hand, not necessarily longer, it may feel better, right? And if it does, cool. Put it on there, try one. It doesn't hurt to try one, right? Try one and try it on a club that you will use a lot, right? So you can't go in there, you hit one bad one, you put it in there and never use it again. No. Put it on one that you're going to use a lot, like a 7 or an 8 iron or whatever, and use it and allow yourself to get used to it and hit it and see what happens. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. You guys are more manly than I am. I will say that. All right, what company has the most consistent lofts on their iron heads? Ooh, good question. All right, I'm going to say, as far as lofts actually go, a lot of them are very, very good. Jurg, I'm gonna call you Jurg. A lot of, as far as lofts go, they're pretty good. If I was to put them in order, the number one for me would be Mizuno. They're really good with the lofts. Law angles, maybe not so much. Srixon also does a very good job, and those would probably. And it's funny because they have very similar manufacturing stuff. And then the Callaways and Wilsons. That's the ones I'm familiar with. They would come in a close second. And when I mean close second, I mean really close second. There might be 1 out of 8 that need to be adjusted versus none out of 8. I mean, the loft angles are they're really dialed in. It's the lie angles that change. The lie angles that change quite a bit, and those can be off by as much as 2. And okay, you can adjust both, but that's the easiest one to adjust. Very much, sir. EJ from Las Vegas. Nice. All right. How about grip size? My hand measures 8.5 to the longest finger. I've been using standard +2, thinking of mid size. So what he's talking about is you measure from here to here, and you measure that. The Golf Pride used to have a little hand measuring thing. You put your hand on it, it would tell you what size you needed right away. And EJ, when you take a standard and you add 2 grips, you're just slightly under mid-size, just ever so slightly. Uh, Short of some really big fatty type grip, uh, I would try the mid-size. I don't think that you're going to see a noticeable change to the point. It's just a really cool tweak, but I would give it a shot. And putting the grips on and off will actually be a lot easier than adding 2 extra layers of grip, right? Now you want to be careful with this. Now we're going to go over that one again. So a grip that looks a lot like this is a pure grip. It looks like this, and it's very true to form, right? Like a Tour Velvety kind of grip. Very sticky. I really like them. And a Tour Velvety will tend to play or feel smaller than, say, in the same manufacturer, an MCC4, because they have a little bit more give here. They're a little softer, or a CP2 grip, or or even a wind grip, right? And they might play a little bit bigger. So you want to also take that into consideration too. Ugh. There you go. What's a good shaft to increase peak height? I currently use KBS Tour 90s. All right. So this is another philosophical thing. Uh, when they talk about shafts dealing with spin, shafts creating height, shafts doing this and that and the other thing. And yes, they do actually contribute to those things, but not as in great a detail as one would think. Now, for creating height, the most popular idea right this very moment is when you have a softer butt section, the bottom will flick out and create this extra height, i.e. KBS Tour 90. There's also the Nippon 950 GH, the XP95s, which aren't being made anymore, something along that lines. Now, another way to think about this is that the idea is all about this, right? Is this versus this, right? What makes this happen? Not without this, but just purely that. So you got to be in the right you got to be in the right flex. So there's also another consideration, maybe, just maybe, if you went a bit stiffer, and I know it's backwards, that it causes you to hold the club open, thus increasing loft, and then it goes up a little higher. It works, but only for a select few. The other part might be instead of a 90-gram shaft, and I would have to experiment that with you, is maybe try a lighter shaft still. Maybe a 70-gram shaft and see what happens. Again, much like these Acras back here, right here, the 70-gram shaft is quite possibly one of the most popular weights for graphite, and just the fact that it's lighter might be able to help you out. All right, Camilio, thanks as always. Just a set of Mizunos that were in pristine, got checked, loft, and lies. Now I have to do some stretch marks. Oh, okay, very good. I think wearing snowshoes. Oh, stop. Yes, that's the guy, Scott Gorley. Yeah, I golfed with him at New. We'll call it New Brunswick. It's in North Berwick. There you go. Guy can hit the ball too. He's just a great golfer. Good guy. Good guy. Non-existent human. Thank you. You're more than welcome. We got one here. Quadwire. Can you guys fit me to my current clubs? Yes, we can. If you took a DG and soft stepped it twice, would that be equivalent to a stiff shaft? Well, flex-wise, yes. Performance-wise, probably not. If you took it so the reason why I say that is normally the DGs, when they flex out, they're in the exact middle of their flex range because there's a flex range. So if you're in the middle, and if you soft step twice, that's a 0.6. That gets you into the very top of the stiff range as far as frequency goes. Now, what you've done is you've also created it a bit looser. You've made it a little bit more flexible, and you're going to have to trim off a lot more butt to make it get there. So you're going to be careful about some of this stuff. Can you do it? Yeah. If you're experimenting, try it. If you're wondering what about it and trying to do a whole shot, not necessarily so much. I wouldn't necessarily go there. However, if you're an aggressive kind of guy, then yeah, maybe you'd want to do that. Oh, I'm getting the wave here, guys. Nacho P. We're gonna do Nacho P. Hola. Is it possible to repair reinforce a small crack in a wooden shaft from the inside? Ooh, good question. The answer to that, I would say, is no. But if it's a small crack, what you might be able to do is throw some whipping around it, much like they do at the end of the head or at the end of the grip. Just whip around it, and particularly if you really want it to look cool, if you can find the pitch, and it's that pitch thread, it's basically thread with tar on it, and wrap it around to give it that authentic look and reinforce it that way, then yeah. And don't be afraid to put a little bit of glue in it. I am just so amazed that I actually knew that. All right. Very cool. All right. Good. I'm glad it worked out. Hopefully it works out for you. Jeffrey Smith. Howdy. -4. Night. Oh, once. He caught me. Live in Seattle, and I can't play in the rain. Hate it with a passion. Dude, if you're in Seattle and you don't like in the rain, that's going to be problematic at best. I lived in Bremerton for 3 years, and I know exactly what you're talking about. That little gray brain stuff. Oh my goodness gracious! Yeah, I mean, they said it didn't rain very much, and they weren't certain, but what they didn't say is that you were going to get a tenth of a rain every day for the rest of your life. Here you go. Good one, man. Good one. I hit golf balls at the North Pole with a 2-iron. Good day. Oh, I know what you were doing. I know what you were doing, Charlie. Good man. I'd love to have been there. Thank you for the third of a flex. Exactly what I needed. Good deal. All right. I've seen people do that. See, me and you, Dave, we're right there, 50 degrees. Michael Morrison, there's a name. I have a set of PXG Gen 3s. The sole of the club looks horrible. I emailed the company and they said it was normal where they're for their clubs. I disagree. Is there any way you can make them look better? Well, there is, but if number one, if it's a black club and it looks awful, can't do anything about that one. The black is a coating and it will wear off. And yes, they are correct. Particularly if you're playing in a coarse environment, say like a Myrtle Beach area where there's a lot of sand. Sand is basically sandpaper, and it will eat that coating clean off. Now, if it's a chrome outside and it's looking real bad, the first thing you would try to do is hey, the baby girl's still with us. The first thing you want to do is we try a nylon belt to try and smooth that all out first without really getting into the metal. And if you're looking for it to be very, very smooth, then you're going to have to put a little sandpaper to it. And I have 1200 grit belt, and it really smooths a lot of that stuff out. Now, if you have real, no kidding, we'll call them scars, real big type dits, you're going to have to leave those on there because you have to remove too much metal and it will change the playing capacity. However, for just, if you've got, it just looks gnarly and you just want it off there, yeah, a little 1200 and then buff it down and you'll be fine. But you're going to have to keep care of it because you just took off some of the protective coating. And you may be experiencing it now. If you're starting to see it rusting a little bit, then it's not going to matter. All right, 2 more, guys, and we got to go. Regarding wood length, I noticed that the problem on my current 5 and 3 wood also found the Arcos system. Oh, okay. EJ, using Golf Pride New Decade, was to give that. Yes, I would say yes. Then you're okay with that. All right. Yeah, Zelos would do it. Now, keep in mind, if you're in the Tour 90s and let's say the R or the A, then yes, the Zeloses will do it. The Zeloses are a very, very, very light shaft, and they don't go above an R that I'm aware of, and that's for a reason. So if you're an aggressive guy, I wouldn't do it. But if you're a smoother guy, then yeah, all over it. All right, we got one. Oh, here's a new name. Arnie, what shaft of KBS is similar to the True Temper Elevate 95? Stiff flex, I want to change to Tacoma 2 irons that have only KBS shaft. Good one. From a weight perspective, the Tour 90s. However, it would be my opinion that the 95s, I do like the Elevate 95s, by the way. The KBS Tour the KBS Tour 95s, or I'm sorry, the KBS Tour 105s. What, you have to go outside? She's whining at me. Mrs. McGolf, if you're out here, she's whining at me. I would look at the KBS Tour 105s, okay, and look at that. Yes, it was. Stan, there he is. Dealing Springs. Very good, sir. Thank you very much. All right, guys, we made it to the bottom. Well done, guys. I appreciate it. We answered a lot of good questions. This was a good topics to talk about. I appreciate it again. All over the world, lots of good things to talk about. And again, if you see something, don't forget to like and subscribe on this guy. And we will see you next Monday. And as always, let's see your scores. Go low.